Hey everyone, welcome here and glad to have you along. Did you know that I am now on Locals? Locals is an app where you can build community. Think of it like a modern day Facebook group. There you can get free content. I host morning coffees, some afternoon happy hours. You get tons of bonus content, discounts to programs and functions, and it's the best place to connect with me and the subscription box community as we continue to grow. All the videos are free to watch, and all you have to do is sign up on Locals. And the best place to do that is to download the Locals app and search for The Subscription Box Show or Eric Music, or you can go to the actual website, thesubscriptionboxshow.locals.com, and there you'll be able to sign up for free. Hope to see you there, and remember to check out our new YouTube channel, The Subscription Box Show. Cheers, and enjoy the show.
Good morning.
Oh, there you are. How's it going, Kelly?
Good. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Thanks for asking. So, looks like you got a. Where are you calling in from here? Are you in New York?
Chicago.
Chicago. You know what?
Yeah.
I was gonna guess New York or Chicago. The New York thing, I think, is because I read something about New York, but when I was looking at your site, a lot of the stuff was like Chicago Magazine, Chicago. So I'm like, are you born and raised there?
No, actually, I'm an East Coast guy.
Oh, no kidding.
I was born in Maryland, and proud to be from the East Coast, the Mason-Dixon area. And then I went to Connecticut. I was in Connecticut for university, and then started my career in New York, and been in Chicago for a long time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Where are you guys?
I'm about 13 hours north of you. I'm in Canada. So
Yeah.
I'm in the province of Manitoba, near Winnipeg. I'm outside of Winnipeg, but near Winnipeg. So yeah, I also enjoy cold winters.
So do you, are you near Bold? Isn't Bold Commerce in Winnipeg?
It is. Yeah, good call. So yeah, actually the founders of Bold, like Jay Myers, I know well. He grew up, I'm in a little French community. There's a lot of like these little French towns here. He grew up in a community about 15 minutes from my place. And
Really?
Bold headquarters is now literally, I can drive there right now and be there in about 35, 40 minutes.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. What a great guy he is.
Jay?
Yeah.
Oh, he's phenomenal. Yeah.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah. So you know what? The way this works, maybe we'll just get right into it. So welcome to the show, Kelly. It's very conversational. Yeah, it's very easy going. We're just going to talk about your business, talk about what you guys have done with Tiege Hanley, and how you eventually started this company. But yeah, we'll just maybe go back to the Jay Myers. How do you know Jay?
Yeah, I mean, probably through Subta.
Yeah,
and Subta is a great organization.
Yeah,
and I know you have a lot of connections there too. But you know, I met Jay through Subta, and really trying to understand who in the subscription business has been around long enough to seen some cycles in the business, and really good to help navigate what's going on and keep their finger on the pulse of subscription business. And Jay's one of them, and Oshin at Recharge. They're two great guys that have been around early on, really thought leaders in subscription and e-commerce in general. So they're good to know.
No doubt. I think I did a thing back a while ago, like episode 55 to 59 or something like that. And we're like at episode 240 now or whatever it is. So, and it was regarding subscription platforms. So I want to give every kind of like big platform. I reached out to all of them, and 4 of them agreed to do the little mini series on so it's just to help people navigate, what kind of platform is best for me. So we had Stefan Pretty from Subly.
Yep.
Shatri Ali from Recharge. I think she's still there. She was the CEO at the time. And then we had Jay Myers from Bold. And then we had, what's his name? Amir from Cratejoy.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the great companies. I think Shatri's actually at Klaviyo, but I could be. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, I'll have to look that in. Okay.
Yeah, really, really great, great companies. Anybody who's been in this ecosystem for a few years really understands how important those companies are to making subscription work. We're a Recharge company.
Jay hasn't moved you over yet. He hasn't.
No, it's funny. I mean, it's right. I've been in business long enough to know that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. So it's got to be a really the right thing for your business to do to make a move like that. I am interested in Bold, and I'm interested in this platform for certain reasons. We kind of took the hard yards and built out a lot of the back end of our subscription platform to do the things that we wanted to do. When you do that, you always run the risk of technology eventually catching up and and exceeding kind of what we're capable of building internally. So I've spent millions of dollars building out my back end platform. A lot of stuff that we have now, which wasn't available years ago, is now off the shelf, available through a few different companies. So it's always a balance,
Oh, no question. Yeah, you can't really go wrong. There's so many good companies now. That's why I put it out there. There's something for everyone. And I kind of wanted to ask the same questions, the same stuff, and they kind of, and then people can just decide for themselves. For us, I really like the Subly actually model. But at the time, we're in Canada, and he's based out of Scotland, and they do service internationally as well. But there was something with the tax in the provincial tax systems. It was easier to do it through Shopify and eventually Bold. And I, getting to know Jay was right there. I could, bounce some things off of him. So it, at the time, was the right fit. And we're still with that V1, which is now getting to the point where it's getting a little clunky. There's certain things we like the V2, but doesn't offer a V1. So it's like, now we're stuck. Are we looking at recharge? So it's like, I don't know. We're also, and then Subly now has reached back out and wants to really make this work as well. So we'll see what the future brings.
Yeah. And there's a couple other smaller companies that are really, that I've looked at their platforms just to see kind of what they have. And they're pretty exciting as well. Yeah.
Have you heard of Qpilot? Because I just had Matt Holman on the show here.
Yeah, I was looking at Matt's app or his software, and I had not heard about him before I bumped into him through your show.
Cool. Well, I'm glad to know it's helping even massive companies like you. So, of course, we got to get to the first question, which is pronunciation of your company. Now, I purposely went to look at listen to you on other podcasts, so I know how you say it now. But for you, you are the founder of, and how do you say it?
Tiege. like you nailed it. I was
surprised,
ready to throw double thumbs at you. I mean, look, it's a family name, and came right out of the family Bible. I just like the name, and I like the fact. And when I came across the family Bible, my father's deceased, but we were just having coffee one morning, and he said, "Let me show you something." He came downstairs, and he literally had it like wrapped in kind of like these. It was really a kind of an odd and very memorable occasion. And we were just looking through it, and back then, right? So there's no 23andMe or anything like that. I mean, people actually the family tree is a real concept. People would like write it down, and the back 100 pages just had page and page and page after family tree. Family, all the names in the family tree, and Tiege Hanley. So the Hanley clan,
must be Irish or something.
Irish, yeah. So good old Uncle Tiege. I like the name, and I was able to grab the URL, and and I've had Tiege Hanley as a company for a long time, and actually I had some other companies. This is my third pretty significant company that I've founded, and I've used Tiege Hanley for the last two.
Really? Yeah. Interesting. Well, let's rewind then. I love the name too, by the way. Like, it's such a cool, old school Irish name. And I don't know, it kind of makes me think of this manly kind of a thing, and which is kind of cool, seeing what you're into with the skincare. But let's maybe rewind. Want to talk about those first two companies, or is that something you can?
Actually, I think it's great because, and this has been on my mind a lot, Eric, and it's interesting you bring it up, because I'm not, I'm a little outside of the persona of DTC entrepreneur. There's a lot of young, strapping gentlemen like yourself and, Jay Matthews and John Roman that, that have been in the business that are, quite a bit younger than I am. I've always just been really interested in business and kind of been entrepreneurial. And I remember like the first job I took, coincidentally, and there's some interesting backstory, which I'll save on that for you. But I was going to work with my father. So we were driving in the same car, and, dad's, driving to work, and I'm sitting in the passenger seat. And I was just, my first or second day, and I was saying to my father, I really don't know if I want to do this. Like, I'm not sure if I want to do the corporate thing and be in sales and all this other stuff. And he was like, he was a very corporate man, he's like, just get, make some money, get some experience, learn how business works, and then eventually own your own business. And I had a painting business for 5 years, 4 years in college, my last year in high school, and it allowed me to pay for my college. I was like, I really kind of want to do my own thing again. But I spent 19 years in, kind of corporate America, and then started a global design company, which was a service-based design business called Purchase Point. And, and I really feel like that was kind of the minor leagues for me, because I learned so much. I learned about corporate and about how big companies think. And, and there's a lot of fantastic learnings to be had after working in a big corporation for many years, organizational and HR and, operations and all kinds of great stuff. So I went back in 2009, I started Purchase Point and really grew that business to a multi-million-dollar global design company. And it was a distributed company. So we were way ahead of our time, pre-COVID, of being work from home. I did have an office in London, an office in Taiwan during most of that time. But it just prepared me, and it actually entered me into the men's skincare business, because a lot of our customers were into male grooming, and I was helping them understand. That business was around helping our big consumer product companies understand how guys shop, how people shop, and by channel, which actually is very similar to digital, right? How do people shop in each channel? How do you get people's attention in various channels? And so that launched my interest in men's skincare and helping guys understand how to use skincare, and just making it simpler for them to get into the category.
Yeah, it's interesting. When was it founded officially?
We found it. I actually started the business in 2015, and when I started the business, I started it as a kind of a side project to my design company, Purchase Point, with my college roommate, Rob Hoxie. And he had just finished a multi-year stint with a software company in Connecticut that had been sold by RIM, a great Canadian tech company, hardware software company. And he was kind of, had an opportunity just to help out. And we launched it at Tiege.com. And it was a subscription box, or actually it was a box, not subscription. And we were putting other people's product in the box. And it lasted like 60 days and it failed. So we retooled and met Aaron Marino, our third partner, and who's a YouTuber, and created our own products and our own formulation, and relaunched in 2016.
Do you think that was key, having an existing audience there? Like, I know, like, he was a pretty prominent YouTuber. I think they call him like Alpha M or something, or what?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Like, was that a huge part of it? And is that why you guys reached out to him, or was it just a prior connection?
We reached out to him because we wanted him to help. We wanted his help promoting the business. The thought of bringing him in as a partner in the business really came from him. And what wasn't really on our mind when we reached out to him. We really just wanted to have a voice in the market. We thought Aaron could bring that voice. We didn't realize how significant that really could be to us, because of Aaron's, not only because of his audience, but because of how much he had accomplished, and really was kind of the first person in the male grooming space to talk about, what it means to be a man today, and how to take care of yourself, and how to get the job and the girl, and get the date, and what to wear and what not to wear. And the concept of self-care was really just kind of coming into the forefront in people's minds. And we got really fortunate that Aaron was very interested in men's skincare, and we were able to agree to a partnership.
Is that something that how can I word this here? I'm just thinking of the people that might be trying to consider having, a family member or a friend partner with them in business. Would it have been different if it was a family member, or like, for example, like, if, or is it something where you want to make sure there was no other ties that way? Because I've heard that can get messy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think most of us entrepreneurs have been down that road, whether it's a family or friend. Um, that's a very, very, very hard situation.
Yeah.
And everybody's heard, don't get in a business with your friends or your family. And I would, I would agree with that after years of having both family, not quite family, but a lot of friends in my businesses. It's very difficult over time. But Aaron was not. Aaron was we were just literally looking for ways to have a voice in a very crowded marketplace, and Aaron helped us provide that voice. And what's really interesting is Aaron helped our business in the first couple of years. Really, it was like putting rocket ships on the back of the business and really grow the business rapidly. And and he earned a significant portion of equity for that. But really, what's been better is he's been a phenomenal business partner. He's just been incredibly insightful and really thoughtful and a really great voice for us, our business. And the tone of the voice and the concept of being a real trusted brand that really knows what they're talking about and really truly interested and genuinely interested in helping men look and feel amazing. Aaron really brings that to us.
No, for sure. He's definitely a valued partner. Like, when it comes to the equity, then I guess for someone who's maybe looking outside of the family now, you're like, okay, yeah, I've heard that enough that I'm going to look elsewhere. I'm going to maybe look for something who specializes in some kind of niche that I want to, and I want to also rocket fuel my business. When it comes to equity, is that a difficult conversation to have, and where does it start?
Yeah, I think I think, well, the concept of equity is complex and it's critically important, and I think, actually, if we could just make one comment before I
Sure.
answer. I mean,
Yeah.
I think like making sure that you really spend the time, Eric, to think about an operating agreement whenever you enter into a partnership and really get that locked down. I think provides a great foundation and guardrails to run a successful partnership. So, I think that's a really critical thing that needs to happen. And then these conversations around equity really start to kind of take shape and become really meaningful. And I think what you decide early on in those conversations around an operating agreement and who's going to be really responsible for what. And I don't know, you've probably been through several, discussions around operating agreements, but they're really kind of nasty because it's always about the worst case scenario, right? Like what happens if someone, dies? What happens if little things that you never think about? What happens if, you get divorced, one of the partners get divorced or separated, and then the wife is claiming or the husband is claiming a part ownership in the entity, and all these crazy things, and you never think about any of this
No
stuff.
kidding.
So I think, like, early on, talking about equity is really great, especially if you have a great foundation for how you're going to conduct your business through this partnership. And having people feel really comfortable in the beginning about the amount of equity they're getting is really important, because I think over time people come back and say, I always wanted more, but you guys like convinced me to take less. I mean, I think like making sure that's very equitable up front and everybody feels like they're getting their fair share. And then on the back end, right, it's like realizing that you got paid a lot of money in equity up front, and you've got to continue to do your piece of it over years and years, until there potentially is some sort of liquidity event. So it's it's a very important part. And Aaron got a lot of equity for what he brought to the table, and he deserved every penny of it.
Yeah, no doubt. I guess I don't want to know what his equity is. I just, if there's a starting point, because some people, they might, you go into conversations and let's say you're two people, it might be, okay, well, it's they want 50-50 and you're gonna be like, no. And so I guess my question was like, is there like, do they usually start at 5%, 10%, 2%, 1%, 25%?
Yeah, I think, it depends on the situation. I can answer it this way. When we had those conversations, and literally I said to Aaron, I said, we really need to, create a legal entity, take it outside of Purchase Point, my design agency. Rob needs to get some equity. We need to come down and meet. I rewrite the business plan. I'll come down and meet with you in 2 months, and we'll kind of lay it all out. I had already had in my mind what I thought, I needed to make it work for me, and Rob kind of had it in his mind what he needed to make it work for him. So we kind of went into the conversation with an idea of where the three of us needed to be in terms of equity. It was important for me that that I was going to have a controlling percentage of the business, because I knew that I was going to spend the majority of my next 10 years of my career pouring my heart and soul into it, and I really wanted to have the ability to really shape what the company looked like without a lot of dissent amongst us. So we kind of had that agreement in day one, and so I think that helped a lot, because it was pretty clear that I really wanted to collaborate a lot with my partners, but at the end of the day, I wanted to have the flexibility to make decisions. So we went into that conversation kind of putting that right out on the table, and so at that point it was just a discussion really between Rob and Aaron about how much they were both willing, based on what I needed and what they were willing to take. So and it worked out really well for us. We've had phenomenal partnership, and I don't think it always works that way.
Yeah. Is there some pretty defined roles being met there as well in those meetings?
Yeah, very many. Who's responsible for what.
Yeah.
The decision-making thing, and how the kind of hierarchy and org structure goes is really important. I mean, for years and years and years, you'll be making decisions, and it's like, daily, weekly, monthly, annually, 2-year, 3-year, 5-year plans. You'll be making decisions, and you need to be really clear about, how those decisions are going to be made, and who has the deciding voice, and who's an influencer and who's just being consultant.
Yeah. Well, take a quick second here just to before we continue on with this great and I love the insight so far. This is great stuff, and I got some really good questions for you coming up. But first, I just want to thank today's sponsors, which you mentioned earlier, SUBTA and Sub Summit, which is upcoming in 2023 in Dallas, Texas. So get your tickets. That'll be in May. Just go to subta.com or subsummit.com, and you'll be able to check that out. Let me just change my view here so people can really focus on what I'm saying here. So Sub Summit, if you're watching on YouTube, which also brings me to, if you haven't checked out the YouTube channel yet, we just recently launched that. Make sure to go at least check it out and subscribe, like the video. When you do that, a lot of people who view don't subscribe. Just click on that subscribe button. Doesn't mean you're automatically going to get notified all the time unless you hit the bell button. In case which you do want, then hit the bell button. Otherwise, just hitting subscribe really helps the algorithms get this in front of more people. So check out the YouTube channel. Check out also the Locals channel, which is the subscription boxshow.locals.com. There you get bonus content like the lightning round, which I'm just telling Kelly about now that we're going to be doing with him today. Sometimes it's exclusive content, exclusive interviews, post-show wrap-ups, those kind of things. And today's post-show wrap-up with Kelly will be an old school kind of lightning round. So I'm looking forward for that with him. But you also get exclusive discounts like Sub Summit last year. Subta was gracious enough for the local supporters to get 50% off their ticket. That's huge. You don't get that anywhere else. So also want to mention the Subta gift guide for this Q4. We're probably going to start talking about some Q4 stuff, Kelly. The Subta gift guide is free to apply to, and this gets published everywhere. It's a huge one, and it's free. And I think it wraps up on September 16th. So you're still going to have time to do that by the time this episode airs, probably a few weeks yet. So we're recording this at September 1st. September 1. Look at that. So yeah, you got 16 days to get that going. This is going to be starting to air next week. So yeah, lots of time. So go do that, subta.com for more on that, or just email me. I can give you that information. So Locals, YouTube, Sub Summit, and the Subta guide. So yeah. And if you're not a member at Subta, did you know you can also join for free? There's a paid plan, but you can start there just to kind of poke your nose in. If you're just kind of wanting to see there, you can definitely do that for free. Great resource. I know Kelly must be a member there, obviously.
Yeah, we're extremely lucky to have a great organization to support the subscription box. So I love Subta.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, let's just hop right back into it, Kelly. You said in that last little segment, you mentioned something about, the next 10 years of your business. Is that kind of how you go about setting goals? You kind of like reverse engineer, you set up a 10-year goal, look at the plan, and then how does that work? Or is that
exactly.
just yeah.
Yeah. And Eric, I think it kind of goes back to, the question you just asked, when you're sitting down, with your partners, you're talking about equity and what's an appropriate amount of equity amongst them. I think that conversation is like, what happens in 3 years? What happens in 5 years? What happens in 10 years? And so we kind of had, a plan for the business over 3, 5, and 10 early on. And it's pretty much worked out as we expected. So, and I'm talking about really at the high level about how we want to grow our business and what we eventually want to do with it, and whether or not we'd be partners together the whole time, or whether or not someone would decide that they wanted to retire, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I mean, we're thinking about 2025 and beyond, and there's a lot that goes into that, right? Our company structure and who's in there, and options plans, and how we're gonna continue to grow, and what a 25 to 35% year over year growth rate looks like. What do we need to do to sustain that? Where would we be in 5 years? And what are the different channels and avenues that we're going to continue to play in to get us there?
Tiege, when it was launched, was it for the skincare specifically, right? Like, I know it's been through a couple of different businesses.
2016, yeah. Tiege was launched in 16, July of 2016.
Was it started as a subscription box kind of business? Is that kind of like was always the idea behind it?
Yeah, that's what Aaron brought to the table. So we were in kind of version 1 that pretty much failed in 90 days. We weren't subscription. We weren't our own brand. We were focused on making it simple for guys to get into skincare. So our whole thesis is just to make it really easy for guys.
Your 3 rules, right?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. The power of 3. So we wanted to make it really easy for guys. So we decided subscription and create our own brand and make it easy. And we are uncomplicated skincare for men.
You want to talk about those 3? Hey, talk about the 3 rules. Is that kind of like the value? How important is the value prop? Maybe I should ask it this way. What's more important, like the value proposition, or is there anything that kind of is more important than that?
I don't think there's anything more important than that. I think, well, actually, what I would say is more important than that is, what is the mission of the company? What are we really here trying to accomplish? Right? If it's just about making $1, right, it kind of falls apart over time, right? It's hard to get motivated just from that. I mean, we really have a mission of the company, which is trying to help as many guys, look and feel as amazing as possible, right? I mean, it's important, right? In today's world, with issues and concerns around mental health that was, brought on by the pandemic, and people really trying to evaluate where they're going with their lives and where they want to live, and all that, and then self-care, and it's okay now for a guy to eat a salad every day for lunch. No one's going to say he's not a manly man, or all that stuff is really important to us, and we're just a small part of it, in helping guys take care of themselves and helping guys feel good about themselves. So that's really where it starts. It starts with our mission.
Yeah, mission is key for sure. Having kind of like this important worldview, value proposition, right? Like, I guess when you guys were starting, this is kind of like the ideas coming together, 2015, 2016.
Right.
I remember back then, I'm trying to remember what was out there. It was like Dove's men's skincare, those kind of things were popping up. You were starting to see big brands kind of trying to get in. And before that, I remember in the like MLMs, there used to be like skincare kind of popping up for men.
Correct.
They were trying to get ahead of the curve too.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, how did this idea come to you? Was it something like you saw a huge hole within your niche too? Because let's speak to me, for example. Like, I'm a pretty, I'm 40 now, but I would consider myself pretty metro. I like to take care of myself, grooming myself. I like to dress nice, look nice. I like to have, my hockey flow hair. I like to do all these different things. Yet I've never used a facial cream because I'm always kind of worried. And I know, you can touch on this. Like I don't put,
moisturizer on your skin.
Moisturizer, but more for the sun. Why can't I think of the word?
Sun protection, like SPF, suntan lotion.
Because I know I've heard about skin cancers and stuff that alone causes skin cancer. Never mind the sun. And we were joking about that, my wife and I. Like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? But So, I'm 40 now, so I'm starting to see like the crow's feet and the classic tails sign of like aging. So
yeah, I mean,
what
that's
would you
how I
tell
got
me?
into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was literally, I was spending a lot of time at Purchase Point with big global brands, and guys were really starting, especially like in Eastern Europe. It was kind of moving across Europe and especially in Asia. Guys were just like really taking care of themselves, and I was really kind of like perplexed by that, because I'm like,
So what's
man,
going on?
there's a lot of guys that are into the skincare, like us Americans. Like we're just like gorilla style,
And when was this roughly? Sorry.
like 15, 14,
Okay.
15, 16.
Yeah.
And I was spending a lot of time in Asia, and I like made more than 50 trips to Southeast Asia, and I was just shocked by it. I was really kind of confused by it.
Yeah.
Like, why are all these guys like into this? Like, is it just a societal thing? Is it like, what do they know that we don't know? Is it like their mothers and fathers are like, educating them differently about why it's important to take care of your skin? Like, what's going on? Or are they just more vain than we are? So that's where it kind of started. And then I was coming to the US, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I ought to like do something here. And I was going to the Nordstrom and like the kind of department stores, and I was saying, like, I was concerned about my own. I had 3 children, and like I wanted my marriage to last for years and years. So I was probably a little overweight. I'm like, I got to start taking care of myself. And I just realized there's a huge hole here in like, from men, like, and they'd always said, in the beauty industry, it always said like men was like the last bastion of beauty. Like, we've grown beauty as much as we can for women. Now we've got to go after like those apes, those dumb males that, don't know how to take care. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm just connecting the dots and really seeing that there's a great opportunity, and that cultural changes were upon us. Guys were like thinking more about it's okay to take care of themselves. So that's how it all came together. A combination of me not looking too good, getting older, being concerned, my wife making some backhanded comments now and then that really shouldn't have bothered me, but did, and seeing the market changing, and a great opportunity.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, speaking of the market, like I'm trying to think earlier than you guys, because that's pretty old for subscriptions. Like you guys are pretty cutting edge when it comes to that. But even older than that, I'm trying to think like Dollar Shave Club. And
right.
2-part question here. Like, was that like, did you guys look closely at them? Similar kind of niche, right? And curious, like if they ever want to go in that direction, like they're so big now. I think Gillette owns them. Like, would that be something where it's like the plan is to get acquired almost, because like you think that's almost like a perfect marriage where you have like, the shaving and then the skincare and or is that just too different?
It's interesting. So you asked a bunch of questions. Dollar Shave is absolutely an inspiration. I don't think, just to me as a men's skincare brand, but I think as any DTC brand, really, they were kind of like created a playbook for, but
especially for men, because it was funny. Absolutely. It was kind of edgy almost. It was brilliant. Like, it
was off the charts.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Dubin was like, brilliant. I mean, what he did was just amazing. I happen to know a little bit of the backstory with that business. And I think, that model, the way he grew that business probably doesn't work as well today of, just growth at all costs. But I mean, to answer your question, I mean, he was in a situation where he was just, buying customers against a model that probably wasn't sustainable over time, but figured that, he could bring his expertise to a company like Unilever that would eventually be interested in buying them, which they did for $1 billion. And, I think like I was thinking about that when we started the company, like that, maybe we would, exit someday and someone bigger would buy us. But, it's funny. I mean, I think things change after a while as business, as the mentality about what a DTC startup would be, and reality sets in about like how many unicorns are in DTC, and there's not many, right? And how many businesses grow really big and then kind of fizzle. I mean, Harry's was never able to kind of close on a big deal. Edgewell wasn't able to buy them because of, FTC complaints that they would own too much of the shave market. Where they started out, like both Dollar Shave Club and Harry's kind of started out with an enemy, and the enemy was Gillette, the $8 razor, right? And thinking that one day, I don't know what Harry's thinking was, but thinking one day that Harry's would buy him, or Schick, which is Edgewell, would buy him, the second biggest company. And then they were never really able to realize that dream because they got so big. There was antitrust involved. So, like, I think over time you really think about your business differently. Is it that you just want to grow this huge business and try to exit it, or do you want to try to grow a sustainable business? And the truth is probably like somewhere in the middle, I think, Eric. I don't, for us at least, like, we want to grow a sustainable business that, that'll be around for 100 years, if hopefully, instead of it being Gillette, maybe it'll be Tiege in 100 years from now. And we do hopefully, would be acquired at some point, because I don't think this is a business that we want to stay in, myself and my partners, for, until we're in our 70s. I don't think that's our plan at all.
Oh, you're ruining my joke. I was going to say, folks, look at how well this product works. Did you know Kelly just turned 93 today?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just, I think I'm sorry if you pulled a tangent out on me, but this is something I think about, and all of us entrepreneurs think about all the time. Yeah. Is what does the exit look like, and who would buy us, and those type of things.
Oh, it's come to mind. It has to come to mind at some point, right?
Yeah. We just want to build a great, sustainable business.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, you seem pretty plugged into knowing a lot of the transactions going on, just like the, who owns what, who's behind what. There's a lot of moving parts in the business world. Is this something you kind of purposely do? Is just more of a hobby? You just kind of like subscribe to like the Business Insider, or you just kind of follow all this stuff, or is it just, where does that come from?
Yeah, I'm really interested in general about business. So like, I'm really, really, really interested. Like, I couldn't tell you, the last movie that I watched, but I could tell you a lot about people in business and what they've done. I just happen to be very interested in it, So, and I've thought a lot about, we've grown organically. So we have about, in the 40-some thousand active subscribers, and we've grown organically without outside funding. And so that's the part that drives me to think about our business all the time. Should we be raising? Should we not be raising? When should we be raising? What does it look like? We've actually tried to raise and didn't. And so I'm always thinking about, okay, what are our competitors doing? And should we, vis-a-vis growth, and, where, like, what would the pros and cons be of raising capital, and how big could we grow? And if that happened, what would kind of an exit look like for us versus growing organically? So that conversation just plays over and over in my mind. Yeah. And so that's why I think I'm kind of plugged into it.
Yeah. You kind of read my mind there. I was going to talk about some competition, copycats, and other things like that. So, I mean, as far as I could see, like, I'm just trying to think of, like, just not even like researching, just kind of like what I see on Walmart shelves and stuff. Like, what would be the biggest competition, and when did they pop up? Was it be like Bulldog and those kind of brands, kind of?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a lot more now, right? There was a couple like Cremo, which is not really a DTC brand. They really are, a retail brand. Buchanan, which is like a brand out of Minneapolis that really Target leaned into, and they grew, substantially through their relationship with Target. Buchanan grew their relationship with Target and other retailers. Both those companies had massive exits to PE firms. Everyman Jack, and another company called Jack Black out of Texas, which Edgewell, who I mentioned earlier, ended up buying. Cremo, also bought by Edgewell after Edgewell couldn't get the deal done with Harry's, and they also own Bulldog that you mentioned, also an Edgewell company.
Really? Interesting.
So those companies were out there, and they were kind of like the class ahead of us. I'm not saying they're more classy than us. I'm just as an analogous. They were just you know, that group of companies that were there when we started, and then there's been a few that started right around us, and Lumen was one of them, and they copied us exactly. They copied everything about us, our colors, 3 boxes, everything. But they were really good growth marketers out of California. Grew that company really quickly with a lot of capital. I think, you know, maybe they raised a few rounds of 10. They've raised 83 million to date.
Oh, jeez.
And you know, I mean, just a very different model, right?
Yeah.
So Lumen and, you know, a couple other companies.
I've never even heard of them, to be honest.
Yeah, there are a few other out there. You know, Hawthorne out of New York is a brand that I admire. Again, well funded, you know, into the tunes of tens of millions, that, you know, really lean into their brand and do a great job. So, and then there's just, you know, there's probably another 30 that have popped up behind us, you know, in kind of you know, smaller than us. We're kind of at the biggest point of the, you know, of the group that started around us, and we're by far probably the biggest if you consider the fact that we're unfunded. I mean, had you given me $10 million a few years ago, you know, our top line would be, you know, probably 4 or 5x where it is right now. But we've done it our way.
There's something to be said for that, no doubt, and much respect too. Like that's I didn't realize you guys were that kind of self-funded bootstrap company. So good on you. I'm just gonna take a quick minute again just to remind people to check out subsummit.com. Make sure to go check that out. All these links, by the way, are going to be in the show notes, whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast. So make sure to click on those. And if you are a supporter and you are interested in getting some tickets for Sub Summit, let me know, and I'm going to get some deals going. We're just kind of like back into dealing with Subta for that. So make sure to reach out to me, and I'm going to make sure you guys get a wicked discount. Hopefully we can nail 50% again. I'm going to put the pressure on since I'm saying this now. I don't think it's going to be an issue. But yeah, there are some kind of sale discounts as well, just for doing that if you're not going to be a supporter. But I mean, again, locals community, the YouTube channel, Sub Summit, and the gift guide. Get on the gift guide. It's free to do. It's just another tactic. We're going to talk about marketing now in this kind of next segment with Kelly and how he did grow his company to 40,000 plus subscribers. And one way you can do that's not going to cost you anything, just 5 minutes of your time, literally, is to go to subta.com and apply for their holiday gift guide for Q4. So with that, Kelly, yeah, I was trying to think. I don't think I have any other questions regarding the bulldog. I was going to say though, Everyman Jack, I do use, being a kind of I am aware of these things. So even the shampoo and conditioner I use has no, what do you call them? Paraben. I don't even know what it's called. I try to use more, the more sulfites, natural stuff because it's going in my head, right? Deodorant. I've heard it gives you, and I've done no research. I can't base this on anything but hearsay. I've heard, you know, the aluminum is not good for you, you know, Alzheimer's, dementia, those kind of things. So for years now, I've been using Everyman Jack actually because it's a natural, good smelling deodorant that I enjoy. So just before maybe into marketing, what kind of products do you guys offer? I know there's skincare. Is there like, because I did your survey, I was talking about different things on there than just skincare. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're really a skin and face care led business. I mean, our core business is, you know, is face, and really being concerned about skin. So I think like, most of our, you know, all of our core products are face care products. So it's about washing your face with something that isn't going to, you know, overly strip the natural cerebrum in the oils of your face, and are going to leave your face, you know, the elasticity of your skin improved, and then moisturizing your face every day. Our moisturizer does have an SPF in it, small SPF, because even just commuting, and it doesn't matter if you live in Canada or in Florida, you know, you're getting bombarded with the sun every day. Scrubbing a couple times a week with an exfoliant, and then using a moisturizer at night, which is, for me, was the most difficult part of my routine, but probably the most important, because
really,
you know, for 8 hours you're laying, not if you're like us, but you try to get 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
And, you know,
5 kids here, try 6, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I can't even imagine. I don't know how you get any sleep with 6, but yeah, I mean, just using a moisturizer at night and then having some anti-aging, items like in our face care line, like a serum and an eye cream and, some new retinol items that are coming out, you know, and that's the core of our business. And then we have an acne line. So we have, you know, 10%, 12% of our business is acne focused. So we're really trying, and that's a slightly different situation, in terms of marketing, because those guys are really interested in, you know, solving a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Acne is a real specific problem,
yeah.
where, you know, taking care of your skin is really about, you know, the long game. So
what would be your answer to this or objection? Because I naturally have oily skin. So I actually have to like wash my face in the morning because it's so oily.
yeah.
I would say it's naturally oily. Why would I need any kind of moisturizer?
Yeah. I mean, men's skin does tend to be more oily, because we produce more, you know, kind of more oil and sebum in our skin naturally. You know, it's really important to have a well balanced, like pH. You know, these are things that, you know, our wives and women have known for a long time, to have a really well balanced, pH on your skin. So, you know, maintaining like the proper amount of oil on your skin, is really important, right? And also, a lot of guys don't like to have like kind of a sheen at all on their skin. They like to have it like a very matte finish. I mean, your skin looks great right now.
Thanks.
And I think like waking up in the morning and using like a super high quality, face wash is like a really great way to start the day. As a matter of fact, I find, and this has been over the years, I find that even like if I've had a long day and it's hot, or I've had a stressful day and I'm going home and I know I have to do something. You know, you have 6 kids, so it's always about
5 kids,
picking 5 kids, picking up somebody or meeting some other or going to some school function or whatever. I've even found that like washing my face in those 5 minutes, you know, between coming home from work and then going to do something, really just makes me feel a lot better. Like it refreshes. It's a reset for me. So it's really important just to, you know, just have some very good basic skincare habits, washing your face, protecting it with a moisturizer, you know, putting and rebalancing the pH before you go to bed, putting a moisturizer on at night. Sounds like a lot, but it really isn't. You're talking about 1 or 2 minutes in the morning and at night, and the long-term benefits are massive.
You make it part of your routine if that's where the direction you want to go into. Get your skin in the proper order, I guess. I was going to say, so no deodorant on the occasion or beard oils. I know like some of these companies are going into that kind of direction as well.
Yeah. No, what we did was we did focus. We focused after the face. We focused a bit on the body. So we have some really, really nice, body washes. And we have some really nice bar soap. So most men either use a bar soap, or, you know, whether it depends on kind of where they're born and raised, right? And like kind of bar soap. Yeah, you're by the way, you're only in like that, you know, 25 to 30% of men are using bar soap today.
Real men use bar soaps, is what they say.
Yeah,
no, I'm kidding. They don't say that, but that's what
I know. They don't. They say real men use Tiege Hanley, but it's very manly. Yeah, and then, you know, so we have some body washes and some bar soaps, and then we have actually have a phenomenal deodorant.
Cool. So you do have them.
It's a really, really, really great deodorant. It only took us 2.5 years to get the deodorant out, which was insane.
Why was that? Just science behind
that product is really freaking hard to make, and to do it right. It's really, really, really hard to make. It's a hot pour. It's really crazy. I mean, our banker was in, we used, you know, one of those big global banks that you hear about all the time. He was in, I gave him deodorant, like 3 weeks ago. And we have another new product called, it's called Balls, BALLS. Probably guess where that product is applied. And
please tell me. I have no kidding.
It's an anti-chafe product. It's just ridiculous. But he sent me an email I just got this morning. And he says, I'm on board with a new deodorant. It took me longer than a week So I told him, like, if you've been using a regular deodorant, you need all that aluminum needs to come out of your body. It's like 3 to 5 days for the aluminum to come out of your pores or underneath your skin.
It's crazy.
And he said it took me longer than a week, as I've been using antiperspirant guy for over 20 years. I like how it smells and it does a job. I didn't really think about the negative effects of putting aluminum in my body every morning.
Oh my goodness.
So we have a powder and a deodorant. We have an overall body lotion and an SPF zinc-based lip balm. But though all of those products are really supporting products to our skin products, we want guys to come in and take care of their face.
It could be a door in, right? Like, you for a guy like me who's never used skincare, it's like, okay, I'm going to start using Tiege underarm. It's got no aluminum. It smells great, whatever. Like, and I like a deodorant that smells nice, whatever. That still has that, right? Anyways, and it's like, that could be the door. And it's like, one day it's like, you know what? Yeah, these crow's feet are really starting to irritate me. I'm going to start doing something about it or whatever.
Yeah, that's exactly the strategy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter which way you come from, because we want you to start with our skincare systems, and if we can, and really help you on your skincare journey and figure out what's right for you. Like, I have oily skin, I shouldn't be using nighttime moisturizer or whatever. Help figure out what's right for you, but then also to say, and by the way, we've you love our products, you love the smell of our products and how they feel, the sensorial of it. Why don't you try one of our bar soaps, or why don't you try one of our body washes, or our lip balm, and then figure out what's right for you, and then that's what we'll ship to you every month. And then the other way works the same way. Like, I'd never even heard of your brand, but I'm really interested in anti-aging. So I buy your super serum. And then I realize you also have like a face wash that I really like. And trying to figure out how to get a routine right for a guy, because he may be using Everyman Jack for hair care or something. And that's okay. But he may want to buy 3 or 4 of our products.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's what's that company, the deodorant company, natural deodorant company out of Maine? Tom's.
Yep.
Yeah, where I think they missed. I had tried their stuff. It didn't smell. Like, I still want some, because I was always an Old Spice guy. I like the smell. It's a manly smell. I dug the Old Spice, but then as soon as you're kind of red pilled into the world of natural stuff, where it's like, holy cow, this crap's really not good for and you're putting this every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, in a very sensitive area. It's very porous. And okay, so it's been years and years, probably years I've been using natural deo, but their problem, I think, for them, where they went wrong. So my point is, having a product that works, that still smells good, but natural is going to be key. And I think right now the missing link is, for me, would be beard oil, because since COVID, I never had a beard. I was always clean shaven until COVID, and then I just decided to keep the beard. But I like these beard oils and stuff. And apologies if you can hear my daughter.
No worries. Yeah.
She's okay, folks. She's just got a pretty nasty cold. Anyways, the beard oil has to have a smell, because right now that's where I'm lacking. I got these natural beard oils I use, and I'm trying different ones. I can't find good ones. Either they're, to be honest, overpriced and kind of don't do the trick, or they just don't. I think you can't have an overwhelming smell, but something kind of like an aftershave, where you put aftershave on, you expect a certain smell. Right. I want to put a beard oil that replaces my aftershave, in sense.
So what do you like? More of a kind of manly, woodsy smell, or do you like more?
100%. Yeah, these kind of spicy, kind of oaky. I don't know how to explain to it yet.
Yeah.
For example, the deodorant I use right now that I've tried a bunch, but I keep going back to, is that Everyman Jack. That cedar. It's kind of the red one. It's got a cool smell that lasts the whole day.
They make great products, and I think their deodorants are really legit. So yeah, but I think I don't want to the extent that I could try to provide some, guidance to your audience. I don't think having, a ton of products and just because we have, we're face care led, but we've got, deodorant and powder and body washes and bar soaps. I don't know if that's necessarily the right thing for everybody. It's right because of our strategy, and it's right because of how, and actually, I think, Eric, you hit it, really spot on, which is, how we try to think about customer acquisition and customer retention. And that's why that's right for us, because we want to be able to go deeper and have grow our AOV and grow our LTV with our guys and really give them, what they want in their box. But that's not right for everybody, right? And if we think about just deodorant, I think, I can't help but to think of Moise Ali with Native and what he did for the Native brand. And he took it from 0 to 10 million to, getting P&G to come in and buy him and exiting at 100 million in revenue. And, and he focused on one brand and one product, which is deodorant, natural deodorant. He focused on kind of like, from what I understand, like basically one acquisition channel, which was Facebook. Times were different. We're talking, kind of the same time I started 2015, when he was probably getting CPAs at, $5, $6, $4, $5, $6, $7. Yeah.
Unbelievable for someone who came in today. Yeah.
And I think and there's another company in Chicago called Dude Products. They were on Shark Tank and they focus, they try to do a deodorant. I don't think it worked out too well for them. And, they're just focusing on their core products, which is wipes. And there's a lot to be said for that. So if you're thinking about starting a subscription box or you have a box, I mean, less is more for sure. I wouldn't necessarily hear, oh, Kelly's got all these products and that's like the right way to go. It is for some people. But if you could just be focused, I think that's more valuable.
Yeah, I agree. How much time do you have? Because I want to quickly talk about acquisition and marketing.
Yeah, another few minutes would be, we can go for 15 or 8.
Okay, so let's go like 5 minutes of marketing talk, and then we'll do the lightning round in like 5-10 minutes. Cool.
Yeah, great.
Okay, so marketing. So what is you start? I don't want to really talk about the past. Let's just kind of fast forward to today. We talked about kind of like that when I was talking about the the stuff. What is the method of acquisition now? Like I know when we even started in 2019, it was Facebook. Facebook was only, but then we know what happened with all the different changes and stuff and iOS updates, etc. So now the costs gone up. TikTok has emerged. Google continues to do this thing. Google Performance Max now. Like there's all these different things. Where you guys, influencers, YouTube. Where do you guys?
Right. Well, it's a perfect segue to what I just said a minute ago. I mean, we do focus. I think you have to have a multiple channel strategy, right? Yeah. I mean, not starting out. So, I want to be clear about that. Like you do have to have a multiple channel strategy, to grow and scale the business. So I think it's really important. And when you think of a multiple channel strategy, you think about, potentially having, a retirement portfolio or a stock portfolio or whatever it is, an investment portfolio. You want to be well represented across your investment or retirement portfolio. Conceptually, it's the same type of thing, when we think about acquisition and having a multi-channel strategy. But here's the answer to your question. We focus the majority of our budget in influencer, and we always have been. And it really came from Aaron, who we were talking about earlier, is one of my business partners, Aaron Marino from Alpha M channel on YouTube. It really came from, Aaron's expertise on influencer. And I also said earlier that I didn't realize how much value Aaron would bring. And part of that I meant was he really helped us understood how the channel works from an insider perspective. So it wasn't just what he was able to do in terms of customer acquisition for us, but really helping us understand how the channels works and how, how the entire ecosystem works and how creative content producers on, YouTube in particular, and other channels, to a lesser extent, how these guys and women think about their channel and their brand and making content, and how it, you can really use your brand, help your brand through sponsorship, really create awareness in the marketplace. So we spend about half of our budget on influencer, and it goes everywhere from a bit of a blurred line between affiliate and micro to macro influencers. And we've done very, very well there. And going back to the kind of native kind of concept, I think everybody kind of probably understands deodorant, right? And maybe there was a little education around natural deodorant. And so maybe Facebook was, the right platform for them. But for us, we need to help guys understand, like, how do you create a routine that's healthy? and like why you would create a routine, and why Teach makes it easy for you to get into skincare, or no matter where you are on your skincare journey, we have like a good solution for you. And that, like, that concept works really well with working with influencers. So we've spent all our time and energy, really, 50% of our time and energy from a capital perspective, managing influencer marketing.
Is YouTube still the play there for when it comes to that, or you got Instagram obviously as well? But like,
it is, but I mean, TikTok's not just a blip, and it's not just like the fad that everybody's talking about. It is a really critical channel. So we're like doubling and tripling down, and have been for a while on TikTok. I don't know, that channel's so dynamic that we haven't really cracked the code there, but we're doing a lot better. But UGC content, Instagram Reels, all that stuff works well for us.
Cool. Yeah. For when it comes to TikTok, I think one guy who's really, you mentioned him earlier, John Roman.
Yeah.
They've really kind of like doubled down. He was on the show, I don't know, a couple months ago, 4 months ago.
Yeah. And phenomenal guy.
Yeah, he's amazing. I like the suit, we call him. Ask him about that one day but yeah, if you wanted to pick his brain, he's one of those guys where I think they've kind of cracked the code on it, and he was really kind of going deep into that with us when it comes to TikTok. So, but John personally? Yeah,
I do. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Reach out to him, because he's one of those guys. I think TikTok, they've figured it out. They've poured a ton of money into it, though, to the point where he was like, if this doesn't work, I'm getting fired. Like I'm getting booted out, because I was like, he's laying a lot of chips down on the TikTok, but then it cracked. And
yeah, he's a good marketer. He's a really interesting guy and a smart businessman.
Yeah, no, he's phenomenal. So he's, for those who've never heard of John Roman, he's usually a speaker at the SUPTA stuff. His battle box usually wins some kind of award. It's just a phenomenal kind of like market they've acquired and done really well in, as well as Carnivore Club, which I think they sold now, but they had acquired Carnivore Club. Yeah, I think he still has to do something with them.
I think BattleBox was sold. I'm not sure if Carnivore Club was part of that or not.
You're right. That's what it was. Yeah. So anyways, Carnivore Club was originally Canadian, which it still is. But anyways, cool. Well, that helps a ton. And I think I got a lot of cool stuff out of this. I think the influencer stuff that you're pushing, that was phenomenal. I know Olivia Canlis from Yowbox, really huge into the influencer marketing. It's not the first time if you've always been focused on Facebook, which we have predominantly, because it just has kind of always worked until now, just with the rising costs. I think this is something people should really kind of look into, and how to maybe partner with these, become, some clever deals and some different things you can do with YouTubers. Because the one knock on YouTube, and you have your foot in the door by giving him an equity-based contract or whatever deal, is the price, right? You want to get any kind of legit YouTuber, the price goes up. But it's not the case with Instagram. You can instantly get like the macro. And even if you don't know what that is, go back in my episodes and just type in subscription box show micro. It'll come up. We've done episodes on those as well.
Yeah. And if anybody has any questions about, there, just like any other channel, there's definitely, an approach and a strategy and way to kind of manage it. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions.
Cool. Appreciate that. So before we head out to the post-show wrap-up lightning round, where is Tiege available? And what's the best place to get a hold of you or the company?
Yeah, Tiege is available at tiege.com, Tiege. Even if you could get somewhere close to that spelling, Tiege, you would likely find it. We are also available on Amazon. We love to have an
international.
Yeah, we ship about 18% of all of our boxes go out overseas. And Canada's shout out to Canada as our *1 international destination, closely followed by the UK.
Cool.
But we really love doing business with our Canadians. You bet. I did dig up a 25% off coupon for your listeners. The subscription box is the coupon code. So I hope they know how to spell that name, since it's right above you on the poster.
We'll have it. You know what? Right now, for the YouTube watchers, it's going to be right on the screen there. Junior is going to put it on the screen for us, our editor. But it's also going to be in the show notes. So yeah.
Yep.
So it's just the subscription box. You put that in. That's your discount code.
That's it. Right there. 25% off.
Amazing. Cool. There's so much more I could talk to you about. I've got a mountain of questions here, but unfortunately I want to be respectful of your time. So sorry, folks. But maybe I'll sneak some into the lightning round. So with that said, thanks for coming on the show. For everyone else who is a supporter on Locals, head over there. If you don't know what it is, go check it out. You can join for free. The subscription, boxshow.locals.com. Kelly, thanks for doing this. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Eric. You guys are amazing, and everything you do for the subscription business, I can't thank you enough. It's really awesome.
Appreciate it.